Hey guys, it's Kevin at Center Stage. Thought I'd give you all a quick tutorial on how to do fret replacement. It's not brain surgery. I thought it might be an interesting thing for you guys to check out. This belongs to a good friend of mine, Carlo Bell, local musician. I've already pulled the frets out. That's what they look like when you take them out. As you can see, they're notched right there. So it's a special tool that I use for that. So I'll show you how to put one in. You can use your imagination on the rest of them. So anyway, here's what we do. I've pre-rolled my fret wire. It's 84 thousandths, which is what he's got on here. The tang is correct with what came off. So here's the way I do it. Let me slip back here and get some tools. So you want to cut them just a little bit long. So we're going to go about 40 thousandths over each side right there. So this is the little fancy nipper tool that we use, and I'll show you how it works. You have to lay them in there pretty flat. Stuart McDonald carries all these tools, by the way. Do that. See, it cuts out a nice little notch. What that notch does, it goes over the binding, so it lets you trim them in like these. So we're going to do that on both sides. We're going to check it before we tap it in there. Looks pretty good. I'm okay with that. Okay, now what I use typically is a block covered in leather, which I will go get, and I will be back momentarily.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm back. Here's the block I use. Just an iron block, 2 by 4 by 4, whatever. Anyway, I just put a piece of leather on top of it. It makes for a really nice backing when you're trying to tap frets in. A lot of guys use presses. I don't like to use a press. I like to do it the old-fashioned way with a fretting hammer. So what you want to do is get it down in the slot. Both sides pretty even. Easier said than done sometimes. This is an ebony fretboard, so it's a little sensitive to chipping. So we're going to tap in the sides first, and then we're going to go across the middle. And the reason you do that is because you want the sides to stay down flat so your string doesn't catch underneath the fret. So excuse me, so it's going to be, we're going to tap it all in, not trying to kill it or set a new straight record or anything, but you just want to make sure it's all in pretty smooth. That looks good. It's sealed down to the board all the way. And I'm going to continue, and then I'll show you the next step once I got all these other frets in. As soon as I get there, be a couple of minutes. Be right back. We're back. I got all the frets put in. The way I like to do it from this point is I use cyanacrylate, and you want to protect the edge of the binding so you don't get glue on it. Basically, I like to glue the frets in because when you level and crown, a lot of times it'll heat the fret up and it'll pull up and it'll change the tension of the curvature on the metal, and you don't want to do that. So the way I've always done it has been to pound them in flat, and you sort of peer down it from the nut side to where they look like they're in real good, and then I'll take just a little bit of this stuff and put on there, and you want to stay away from the edge if you can. I try not to go more than 2 or 3 frets when I glue these in without wiping them off, because if you don't wipe them off, you've got a mess to clean up once it dries, and this stuff dries pretty hard. So we're just going to take a little cotton cloth here and wipe off the excess, and it dries pretty quick, so you've got to work fast. And every fret job that I've ever done, I've done it exactly the same way. So they must be doing it right, because they keep bringing them back for more fret work. I mean, after they've worn them out. So we're going to do that. Wipe that off. This. Wipe that off. Now we're going to take a little accelerator, my personal favorite, Type Bond, Instabond. Put a little bit of this on there. Wait a few minutes. It's already done most of its business by now, so we're going to wipe off the excess. Okay, now the fret is securely in position. I think I'll be safe to take these off at this point. So we're going to pull the tape protectors off the side. And then we're going to come in with our side nibs. Trim them off. I like to tilt it back at maybe, I don't know, 15-degree angle toward the middle of the fretboard. And that saves you a little bit of trouble when you get ready to do your beveling. So you got on both sides here. You don't want to leave those pieces on the bench either, because it makes a nasty scratch on guitars. So you got to clean those up immediately. So stay tuned. Get ready for the next step. Hey guys, I'm back. So I've got my frets glued in. I went ahead and used my little bevel here. It's kind of a neoprene block. You can get these online everywhere. This is just the one that I use. But it's got a file on it. What you do is you take that down the side of the fretboard, and it puts a perfect angle on the sides of your fret, which saves you a lot of trouble and it keeps you from digging into the binding, which you don't want. So that being said, all that's done. Now I'm getting ready to do a level in the crown with the new frets in conjunction with the old frets, because I just did a partial on this, which I don't usually like to do, but it's just what he wanted. So first thing you do is you come in here and you adjust your truss rod to where you've got a little bit of rock on about the 6th fret, which we've got. Not much. So, and the reason you do that is because you always want to have relief on your neck when you're done with the whole fret job. You want to be able to back the truss rod off and have some relief in the center of the neck. You do that by backing it off. So counterclockwise from the end will give you relief. Tightening it up will flatten it out. So what we're going to do is flatten all the frets out now, and then I'm going to crown them. And I figured out which radius this was. Most Martins are 14. You can buy these radius gauges. And it's 14-degree radius on this. So I grabbed that. I've got a fret guru that I use to do the initial leveling with. So I go over with that, and I've got 2 different grits on here. I've got a coarse grit and a fine grit. Once I'm done with the coarse, I hit the fine. Once I'm done with the fine, I go to radius block, which is this right here. Again, you can buy those at StuMac. This is 14 radius. So once everything's been leveled with the fret guru, I'm going to take my radius block over it and put the correct radius back in it. So I'm going to show you as soon as I'm done with this what we do after that point. So stick around.